Welcome back. Now, business rescue practitioners for Mango Airlines are heading to court to force Public Enterprise Minister Pravin Gordhan to decide on whether the airline will be sold. The plan proposes SA selling all its Mango shares to an investor. In order for the business rescue practitioners to implement their plan, they need the minister's stamp of approval. Sipho Sono, the practitioner, joins us now for more on this. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Sono. We do appreciate it. I think many have almost forgotten about the state of Mango, which is rather unfortunate. Maybe just quickly bring us to speed with what is actually going on with the business rescue process of Mango.
Good evening, Heidi, and your viewers, and thank you for having me. Briefly, the business rescue of Mango is basically at the end, where what is remaining is we need the approval of the minister for SAA to dispose of the shares to a new investor, which we have secured. So we submitted the application for such approval in September last year already, but unfortunately, it seems that the Department of Public Enterprises has been basically abusing the PFMA to delay making the decision. I don't know why it should take so long, especially given that the business rescue plan that was published in December 2021 was based on the fact that Mango would be disposed. And this was at the insistence of both South African Airways and the Department of Public Enterprises. So the decision was made a long time ago for Mango to be disposed of. So when I submitted the application in September last year, I thought that the minister would be able to approve within the 30 days that is allowed for in the Act, in the PFMA. But unfortunately, we've been back and forth with requests for information, which in the main doesn't really look like a genuine request for information. It's simply a process of just buying time. I really don't know why the minister requires more time. And that's the reason why I have then decided to go to court for the courts to compel the minister to take a decision for or against the approval.
Okay,
Yes.
I just want to ask you, I mean, you're making quite a serious claim. You're saying that the minister is abusing the PMFA. And I just want to ask you, what kind of information is the minister asking for? Because SAA released a statement last week saying that they have every right to ask for additional information. And at the end of the day, Mango is a state-owned airline. It's taxpayers' money that we're talking about here. It's taxpayers' money that we're talking about when it comes to the business rescue. We mustn't forget that, because that's exactly what happened with SAA. So what kind of information are they asking for? Is it information that you have on hand? Is it not easy just to give them the information? Or are you claiming that this is a tactic to delay the process?
Heidi, really, there is what the minister, for example, is looking for is he is looking for SAA to effectively review the business plan of Mango, which is the business of the new owner, and that type of approach clearly is anti-competitive. There is no way that a potential competitor to SAA will present its full business plan for review by SAA. There really is no requirement for that. That is one of the issues that we have been going back and forth on. By the way, in November 2022, last year, SAA and myself sat around the room and we went through all of the queries that were initially raised by SAA, and they were satisfied. And thereafter, they wrote a motivation for the minister to actually consider approving the application. They were satisfied with everything. But the minister in December wrote to SAA, indicated that he doesn't believe that my answers to the queries raised by SAA were adequate. So that is baffling, because the questions came from SAA in the first place, and SAA was satisfied and submitted a motivation to the minister. So that is why I really don't understand what is the delay about. I'm very much alive to the fact that these are public funds, and that is why, firstly, I've agreed to this interview, and secondly, that I need the process to be finalized as soon as possible. If I were to accommodate all the requests that the minister has, then we are looking at another 3 months process.
I'm wondering if you can tell us how much this is all costing, because if I think back to the business rescue process of SAA, it cost millions, and there was also delay after delay. Are you able to tell us how much this whole business rescue process is actually costing? And I ask this question with caution because I know that sometimes you cannot give those figures out. However, if there is going to be a further delay, that means further money.
The business rescue costs are not that significant now. As I said, the plan was finalized a long time ago, and what we have been doing is we've been negotiating up to about August last year with the investor. So the big costs were already incurred at that point in time. And of course, we are still carrying a few employees in Mango's books, which at a total cost of about R500,000 per month. In terms of the business rescue costs, legal and all the consultants, the last time I looked at it, we were in the region of just under R40 million in total.
So if there's a further delay, that means there's going to be an additional cost to this whole business rescue process. So far it's about
Absolutely.
R40 million. Sorry to interject. So far it's about R40 million that the business rescue process has cost, and an additional R500,000 a month for the workers that you've kept on.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's worrying. Yes, talk to me.
The litigation will also cost quite a lot.
Okay, I just want to ask you something, because this is quite a complex and confusing matter. But if you are telling me that the business rescue plan was adopted and accepted, are you able to tell us the investor, but also why at this very late stage is there queries around the investor when the business rescue plan was already adopted and accepted?
Heidi, unfortunately, I can't divulge the details of the investor at this point in time without getting their permission to do so. But just going back to your question as to why at this very late stage are we having these problems? Your guess is as good as mine there, Heidi, but it seems to me, when I look at the correspondence between SAA and the Department of Public Enterprises way before business rescue started, it seems to me that the Department of Public Enterprises required Mango to be wound down through business rescue, and not necessarily for it to be resuscitated. And this is one of the issues that I raised, that the insistence that Mango shouldn't be operational. If you remember, when we published the plan in 2021, the plan was for Mango, in fact, to resume operations so as to absorb the costs, generate revenue, and make the business appealing to potential investors. But again, SAA and DPE did not support the plan that contained a provision for the resumption of operations. And their view was that Mango should simply remain grounded until it secures an investor, a process that takes some time to conclude. But that process was completed by about August last year in terms of securing the investor. So we are now really at a point where if the minister agreed for the disposal, then the relevant agreements have already been drafted. They would be signed very, very quickly. And this would pave the way for some of the many retrenched workers of Mango to be re-employed by the new investor. And in fact, customers that bought their tickets in advance will also be able to claim vouchers and fly for the value of their tickets.
Okay. Sorry, so Mr. Sono, I just want to...
benefit.
Yes, sorry, I just want to interject there. So you telling me that the adoption of the business rescue plan was we can save the airline, Mango can operate again if A, B and C is done, but government initially indicated, when I say government I mean the Department of Public Enterprises, indicated that the airline should be wind down rather, but you came up with a business rescue plan to save the airline, which is a subsidiary of SAA. We must just remember that. And you found an investor, but now there are still issues with accepting that investor. So I'm going to ask you this. Have you taken the Minister of Public Enterprises and just the department as a whole into your confidence and truly explain to them what your plans are to save Mango? Have you been clear from day one?
Absolutely, Heidi. I was very, very clear. In fact, when I prepared the very first business rescue plan, I submitted to the Department of Public Enterprises 2 weeks before it was made available to the rest of the stakeholders, for them to give whatever inputs they could give at that point in time. And there was nothing in terms of recommendations for that plan to be changed until the day on which the plan was due for publication. And on that day, I was then phoned by the then the Director General requesting that I delay the publication of the plan because they were not happy that my plan made a provision for Mango to operate before securing an investor. So yes, Heidi, I did canvass the business rescue plan with the Department of Public Enterprises. And in fact, even the financial model, the operating financial model, we discussed it with them at length. So the plan that I had initially, which would have resulted in Mango resuming operations by December or shortly thereafter of 2021, then had to be amended to preclude Mango from operating. Yes.
Yeah, this is rather concerning. We'll definitely have to try and get the department on to explain the possible interference here. But thank you so much for your time and your insights. We do appreciate it, and we'll obviously follow that court case very closely. That was Sipho Sono, who is the rescue practitioner for Mango Airlines. And I must just add that SAA did release a statement indicating that they feel it's necessary to request more information from the business rescue practitioner. But as you can hear, he's provided everything that he needs to. So we'll definitely be following up. I'll be back with your headlines at the top of the hour. The Devi Show is coming up next. Do stay with us.